nice to see you again. And so you've got an EP coming out tomorrow.
That's right. Yes.
Right. It's very exciting. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. So it is called Auaha.
Yep.
Which means to create. And it is, I was part of a group last April during that big New Zealand lockdown. And I decided to just spend my days writing music. So I wrote a song a day for 26 of the days.
Right.
I think I took Sundays to just have a chill or something. That's why there's a few days missing from the month. But I wrote a song a day inspired by prompts put on the Auaha April Facebook group, basically, who each morning would share a different theme. And then people who were part of the group could choose to create something to do with that theme. So I decided to make it my little mission to use those to be the starting point for a whole lot of new songs. So yeah, and then I took a bunch of them to my friend Michael Collier and just said, like, I'd be really keen to turn this into like an EP, because I wrote them and recorded them in a day, like just little demo kind of versions of these songs. So it was really fun to then come back to them and figure out which one, after, because just writing a song a day meant I didn't really have time to go back and listen to them until April was finished.
Right.
And the ones that kind of stood out, I took to my friend Michael Collier and asked if he wanted to produce some tracks with me, and so we ended up with 6 tunes which have made it onto this little EP.
Cool. Yeah. So what does Michael bring to the table?
Michael is an incredible producer. He worked with a friend of mine, Valere Music. She had a banger of a tune called Make Believe, which came out, I think it was last year. Right. I remember hearing it and just being like, who the heck produced that? It's like sounded so epic, and she said it was our mate Michael, so who actually did the Bachelor of Music at Auckland Uni that I did. So that was the connection. I knew him already, but I didn't realize how incredible he was at producing these days. So I asked if he could work with me. I wanted to take the tracks, I think, in a more electronic kind of, in a more electronic kind of direction. So rather than, my old stuff is more kind of folk pop. It's always got a bit of a jazzy tone to it, I think, just because of the way that I sing. Well, that's what everyone says anyway. So yeah, it's got that in it still, but it's also like he added all this epic production to make them into a bit of a
right. So when you're writing these songs, is there a difference between writing for you as Emily Rice and Arrow and whatever else you do?
Yeah, definitely. It's quite different, actually. I think because we've always had like a concept to work with our music. So it's always been like, this is what we want. This is where what we want to do with it. And so we start from, and we do a bit of research into our songs, obviously with Manu, our album 2019. Hear the birds, and then we'd research the birds, and that would begin our songwriting process. And our next project is similar, except we're going underwater. So that's coming up later this year.
An album of crustaceans, perhaps? No, I don't know.
It's all sorts of underwater creatures, and kind of touching on the stories of navigation to Aotearoa by Marty. So using legendary stories, I guess, stories of legends. Yeah.
Yep.
Taniwha also featured on that one, so that'll be fun.
Cool.
But anyway, and then with my stuff, it's more. Like with the April project, each morning I'd wake up, look at the theme, and then just be like, cool, and like kind of let myself like ponder whatever that little word was. Like Red and Blue, for example, was one of the tracks on it, and Red and Blue was the thing that they put up in that morning. And then I went outside, and it was a perfect blue sky day. I was just lying out in the garden with my little dog, and I was like, when you shut your eyes and it's like a perfect bright day, and your eyes you see all that red.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, red and blue, and then it just kind of got me thinking about all the different things that those two colors and evoke, all the feelings that they evoke for me, kind of thing. And that's where it started. So that was fun. Little Miss wants to be part of the action.
Beautiful.
So that was pretty cool.
I'm glad you mentioned Red and Blue, because I was going to ask you about making the video for that as well. I think it was shot on Super 8, wasn't it?
Let me feel the sorrow of it all. Cover
Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah, on Super 8. So my friend Becca, who recorded, I worked with her on Kanohi Ki Te Kanohi, another one of the singles. And then I was like, there's this song that I've like, I think I'd seen one of her videos. She shot someone's wedding video on a Super 8 camera, and I was like, man, I've always loved that. Like, I've always been all obsessed with like our old jazz classics, you know, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and all them. And I just love like all the footage that you see of them is just all this like real vintage, beautiful, captured in the moment. And that's kind of, I just wanted to do something like that. I was like, take that inspiration, I guess. And
yes. I'm old enough to remember when I was in high school. I was in Rochester, New York, which is the home of Kodak, so film was everywhere. And instead of shooting like videos on your camera these days, we all had Super 8 cameras that we shot stuff on. And of course, you had to wait and get it developed, and it was only ridiculous.
I love that about it as well. The fact that we had 3 minutes of footage to work with.
Right.
That's all we were going to put. You know, it's quite expensive to get it all produced and everything as well. And so we just went with that and made it happen, which is fun.
Very good. And how has Olive listened to the record?
Yeah, she was having a jam with me yesterday, actually. There's a track which is kind of the feature single or the feature track off the EP, I guess, called Careless.
Yes.
And I was playing that one to her yesterday, which is a bit of a gritty song, I guess. It's more, what would you call it? I'm still really new to the whole, like, how to describe the genres of these kind of songs, because some of them, you know, one of them was like drum and bass. I've never done anything like that before. So this one, I guess it's like kind of I don't even know. People can make their own decision about it, but it's got a bit of a grit to it. And
also has a bit of saxophone in it. There
is saxophone in it, and I think she liked that part. Hey, she's smiling again now, so maybe that's a sign. She liked one. Yeah.
And I noticed there was a lyric or a word that you use in a couple of songs, perspective. And is that kind of a running theme?
Oh, that's good. I hadn't even made that connection myself, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I was writing, I think being able to drop everything and just fully focus on music through that month, I found it really exciting, like not having any distractions, because I'm super extroverted, and I find kind of any excuse to go out and socialize and do stuff outside of the house. And so being locked down for the whole month, really, like, I just had to really channel all my energy into things at home, and one of those obviously was the music. So just like I guess the perspective of things as it was through that month. Is that right? She's joining in the recorded right now.
Good. It always gets another perspective, so to speak.
Yeah. Olive's perspective. No.
So how old is she?
She's 10 weeks old.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hey.
That's amazing. Yeah. My youngest daughter is 34. Anyway, and maybe you can touch on a song. There's a song called Arise. Is that the first song on the EP?
Yes. Arise is the first track. That one's, I'm not going to start saying which one's my favorite, because I'm terrible at just calling lots of things my favorites. But that one is kind of, I've kind of described it as a bit of a personal mantra. So
okay,
it's a real, that one, pretty much what I was just talking about, the fact that I got to wake up every day and jump into another song, that just being able to like do the thing that I'm really passionate about every single day. Yeah. Just embracing the things that you're passionate about, really. That's what that one's all about.
And it's followed by Over Time, which sounds to me like it has a kind of bigger beat behind it.
Shaking out the blankets, pulling up the anchor, take off before he does. You've got your hopes set, ain't nobody forget your
that was the first single that I released actually back in, I think it was in December.
Right.
That one's got a little bit of the drum and bass. Yeah, that one I had a lot of fun writing that one actually. I wrote it on just, as I said, I made these demos and I showed it to Charles and said, what do you reckon? He's like, oh, you should put a drum and bass track, like beat behind it. And so he just tacked a simple one on, on Logic or something. And then when we took it to the studio with Michael, it exploded into this epic kind of
cool
drum and bass track. But yeah, that one's about over time. The perspective thing is really big in this too, I guess. But it's like when you're in a relationship and maybe you didn't see that it wasn't the best thing until you were not in the relationship anymore, and being able to look back and have that perspective.
Right.
That actually, wow, maybe that wasn't, the most healthy thing for me. And you couldn't see it at all at the time, but now it's like, oh my gosh.
And probably everyone else did around you.
Exactly. Yeah, so true.
Having similar experiences like that. And another one is, there's a song called Playing Darts, which seems to be using it as a metaphor for kind of stressing out and stuff. And
definitely. Yeah. So that was, Charles, my husband's always, even with all the different things going on, with COVID and everything that was going on last April, he was still able to just at nighttime close his eyes and go to sleep.
Yep.
And I find myself, my brain just starts going, as soon as I lie down, sometimes it's just like, I just can't sleep because there's so much going on in my head. And that was just about that, kind of being a bit jealous, looking over at him, just sleeping so peacefully and being like, oh, why can't I just playing darts inside my brain?
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, so that was that one.
So the EP is out tomorrow. Are you doing anything special?
That's right. What am I doing tomorrow? It's all just kind of like, because we've got a little newborn baby, we've just kind of been letting this be an online release, but we'll have a little celebration tomorrow night, I think. But yeah, keeping it pretty low key.
Right.
I'm looking forward to getting back into gigging and stuff pretty soon. Started chatting with some mates who I'm keen to make a band up again. It's been a while since I've been done things as a group. I've done a lot of solo shows as Emily Rice, but with this new music, it definitely calls to have a bigger party on stage. So I'll be working towards that for sure. But at the moment, I'm just excited to let the songs fly, and got a few interviews and things like that. But yeah, it's a pretty chill release for me which is, well,
it kind of has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the first time I've released something without having a big release party, a big show or something. So but that's right. I'm pretty happy. Got my little bum.
You do indeed. That's a good. Well, that's excellent. You can train her to be a roadie soon, so
Oh yeah, we're going on tour in September, so she'll be 6 months old when we hit the road for the first time.
That's old enough.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for talking to me about it. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you on stage up here sometime soon. And
awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, Marty. Great to chat.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Later. Bye.